92.5 Jacksonville.
Training camp starts.
Training camp.
We're talking about practice, man.
Regardless of the expectations, the game is played on Sunday. You got to go out there and play the game, and regardless of if people think you're going to win, think you're going to lose, doesn't really matter. So, and that's the mindset we had last year, being pretty much underdog in every game, and we got to carry that over this year too. We still have to have that chip on our shoulder and prepare the same way. You know, we still didn't get to where we wanted to last year, so we have a lot more work to do.
What Calvin Ridley's going to do for Trevor Lawrence and what Trevor's going to do for Calvin Ridley, Calvin's going to burst back onto the scene as being that guy who, when he left, before he left and was suspended, I thought was the best route runner in the NFL, period.
And nobody open. Ryan buys some time, throws, Ridley's got it! Who else? His third of the game!
I'll say this could be the best offense. This could be the most explosive offense the Jaguars ever put on the field. I'm going back to when we had Jimmy, Keenan, and Fred.
Jacksonville has got dudes, man.
Shotgun for Trevor Lawrence. It's a blitz. I mean, it is an all-out blitz. Trevor fires left side. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Evan Ingram in the left corner of the end zone. Are you kidding me? The Jags have extended the lead.
The first year we took it to the limit.
He drops the throw. Looking, fires middle of the field, and that ball is picked off. It is picked off by Rayshawn Jenkins. He's running it back along the right sideline. That is going to be a touchdown. That is going to be a touchdown. The Jags are going to win it on a Rayshawn Jenkins pick six. Are you kidding me? How good is that?
Hey, what's up? Smoke Gang back in the building. We're back in Jacks for another year, another great year, another incredible year. Like I said, all I can do is thank God at the end of the day. Hey, the recovery's been a long road, but we back in Jacks. Let's get it. Duval, let's get it all day.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and
Hold my pocket!
Dylan Denmark.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It's not quite officially a Check the Tape Tuesday. There's no real tape to check, but Logs is back, at least on a part-time basis today, as duties call with the Jaguar Radio Network. Logs, what's up? Good morning. Welcome back.
Morning. Thank you. By the way, there is tape to check.
I was about to say, do you get access to practice tape?
I do.
Ah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, then we'll check the practice tape, but there's no game tape to check.
No, because I think it's great, too, because and it's great that they allow me that access just because, when you watch practice, it's hard to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times your eyes follow the ball, and what you're kind of paid to do as an analyst is to see everything. And so you got to be able to go back and watch the film and to see everything. So it's very beneficial to have that.
It's happening on multiple fields, on multiple ends of the same field. So, yeah, it's very tough to see every single thing unless it's like a team period or something like that. So today we'll go through your observations from the mostly first 2 weeks of training camp, but with only a couple more open practices to go, and then on to Dallas, and here we go, and the Jaguars preseason will begin. I know we've already had a question or two on this morning, and Doug Peterson indicated starters will play a series or two this weekend. I was talking about it with Coach Campo yesterday, and, look, it's 3 games as opposed to 4, right? So the first one that you weren't going to play the guys in, you consider that one already gone by the wayside. You'd play guys maybe a quarter in the second one, a half in the third, and not play them in the fourth.
Right.
They're going to play some at some point, Jeff. Everyone's going to be nervous every time Trevor Lawrence gets any kind of contact from an opposing team. I understand that, but how important is it to you to make sure this team gets as ready as possible by seeing the starters together for a little bit?
Well, just for peace of mind, you'd like to see them, just because it makes you feel better, right? But I think the mindset's changed in the National Football League, and you get really a wide variety of approaches nowadays with the 3 games, and and the money's so big nowadays. Your investment in players is monstrous in a lot of cases, and I wouldn't be surprised, and I kind of predicted without having any prior knowledge from talking to Doug Peterson or anybody else, that my expectation is that they would play a couple series in Dallas because you want to see your guys kind of just, shake a little bit of the dust off, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following week, you're going to Detroit, and you're going to be practicing with them for a couple days. And so you have a great opportunity there to have a controlled environment to play your starters in. So I would be shocked if the starters played all in Detroit because you get the benefit of having those controlled environment reps in practice. Be a great opportunity to evaluate the guys that you're really going to be making decisions on for your roster spots. And then I think the starters don't play at all in the last preseason game against Miami. I don't know if that'll be the case or not, but my hope is that this football team gets ready and to the best of their ability and stays healthy. Because, look, the reality is that if you lose a starter, the drop to the next guy is significant in a big way. And if you look back on it and you lose a guy for trying to play, let's say, 4 series in a preseason game, you're going to look back out and go, why the hell did we play 4 series in that meaningless game when we had the opportunity to protect the guy,
I do think that assumes that whatever number of series you want to give them this weekend against Dallas, that it's successful, right? Like you get out of it whatever you want to get, and in those 2 days in practice against Detroit, that you get out of those whatever you want to get. I think they will. I think they can accomplish those kind of things, but I do think if you don't see anything from the starters against Dallas this weekend, and a couple days against Detroit in practice, you're like, where are we at? Right? Like maybe that impacts what you do a little bit.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
For the most part, I agree with you. I don't think they want to play him any more than a couple series this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're gonna play them based upon the success or lack of success. I think, and then you kind of adjust accordingly. Now, if you go to Dallas and all of a sudden you roll out and you have a 15-play scoring drive on the first drive,
we're done.
That's it. If you all of a sudden you have a 6-play drive and you go back and have a 3-and-out on the second one, you might go back and have a third drive, to try to end something on a positive note, maybe some points, and to close the book on that chapter. But I think the good coaches are the ones that have a plan in mind, but then they also are willing to adapt and adjust as you go.
All right, Log. So we got to jump into it because we only have you for an hour today, and going forward, it'll be the full 2 hours every Tuesday beginning next week, and we look forward to Check the Tape Tuesdays all throughout what we hope is a really deep playoff running team with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2023. But let's start right at the top. Trevor Lawrence, what have your observations been? Not only necessarily just camp, but throughout the course of the offseason.
I think he's been fantastic. The touch throws, the impromptu stuff, I think is very important. And you see Trevor in practice really finish plays. What I mean by finish plays is that when it's not there, instead of having a quarterback just kind of throw it to the sideline or just, flip the ball to the equipment guy and you go to the next play, he's continuing the play like this is a real game and it's scramble rules. So he's running out of the pocket, trying to extend the play and then finding guys down the field, and his accuracy from the run and doing some of that stuff in practice has been fantastic. The touch plays that he's had around the red zone where he's dropping it into the bucket to guys, to the tight ends, has been fantastic. There's nothing to not be happy about with Trevor Lawrence so far in training camp. And C.J. Beathard, last year in training camp, C.J. was kind of just but I thought he's had a really good camp too. Part of that is he's healthy this year. And it's also year 2 in the system for both of these guys, which makes a huge difference.
I know.
Let me just jump in real quick, Tony, on the backup quarterback. Nathan Rourke, right, at times has been praised for his accuracy. He had some struggles earlier in the offseason, I think, in that regard. But regardless, what do you think the Jags' approach will be to the quarterback position? Because they have that new emergency quarterback rule that's coming back now.
Right. He counts against your roster.
Sure.
You're 53, and so to familiarize people with the rule, he counts against your 53, but on game day he can be active without counting against your game day actives. So I would not be surprised if the Jaguars keep on the roster, but it depends on how much and how strongly you feel about other positions.
Right.
You've got some positions that you're really strong at. I think offensive line you're strong at, and you also have a guy that's going to be serving a suspension, so you may end up wanting to keep a little extra there. You have a really strong safety position, and that's going to be a huge special teams contribution coming from that position group. You're trying to find some pass rushers, so you may end up keeping some guys there. Cornerback, another position group that, you're trying to, I don't want to say fix the position, but you're trying to get better at that position by applying the numbers technique, I guess you could say, because, look, draft equity, if you would have spent, second or a third or even a first-round pick at that position, you would have said, okay, they're going after to help that position out. Well, they've done it with numbers. The undrafted free agent guys, the late round picks in this year and last year. So, I think all of those are going to impact that third quarterback position. But I think it would be smart to keep 3. But at the same token, maybe you decide to keep 3 later on down the road once you have a question mark with your first guy or your second guy.
I know we only get the hour with you here, Jeff, and we got a bunch we can get into, obviously, with training camp going on. The story of training camp for the Jags to this point has been Calvin Ridley, right? And his arrival here in Jacksonville, what he's looked like in practice, had the day with the drops, but it's been smooth sailing everywhere else since. We haven't had a chance to talk to you about him since we started training camp. So just your observations on Calvin Ridley and what you think, having seen him on the field with this offense now, you think he'll add to this team this year?
Yeah, the first thing that I was kind of watching with him was how will he fit in, because that room is fantastic. You got a work ethic that I think is second to none with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. They work extremely hard. Agnew's a guy that busts his hump. And I thought that was also important for Trevor's development last year, is to have guys that were there to work every day. And, I mean, I'm talking work every day. And so with Ridley coming in, you're like, okay, is he going to be a diva? Is he a guy that, expects the ball? Is he going to fit in and be one of these guys that doesn't expect the ball all the time, or does he expect the ball all the time? And he's fit right in. His work ethic is tremendous. The guy, he goes 100 miles an hour in practice. I mean, and his speed is fantastic, but, man, what he really makes look special is how he gets in and out of breaks. I mean, it's just he gets great separation, and that's the guys that quarterbacks love, because they create this huge window to throw the ball, and that's what I love about him. And he accomplishes that from different things. One, the release at the line of scrimmage, he has a tremendous release. He's got great quickness, but he's also got great speed, and he's also got excellent hands. When I say hands, fighting the hands with the defensive back. A lot of people don't think about that when it comes to a wide receiver, but part of that is hand fighting to get the better position. And he does a really good job at all of the above, and he's an ultimate competitor. To watch one-on-ones with him, it's like get your popcorn ready, man.
It brings the best out in the defensive backs going against him as well. Tyson Campbell's really gotten up for him, and then Darius Williams yesterday getting that chance with Campbell sideline. Reportedly, battled him pretty well yesterday.
He did a great job yesterday, Darius Williams. I mean, that one, it might have been a little bit physical, but, I mean, the one-on-one play that you're talking about, Darius Williams had him step for step, and I was like, wow, that might be the best play I've seen Darius Williams have yet.
Yeah, well, that's encouraging. Zay Jones has looked fantastic to me. I mean, like Zay, I've said this a couple times, if Calvin Ridley were not out there and everything else was the same, you'd think Zay's the number one receiver on this team.
Think we're great, in great shape.
Right. He's looked so good. But I think, and I talk to a lot of guys as we roam the sidelines and get their opinions on this. I think the battle for the last receiver spot is fascinating, because there's so many guys, I think, that are having strong camps with the opportunities that they're getting. I could give you 4 or 5 names. You tell us who are the guys, beyond Agnew, who we presume is the fourth, and then I'm going to presume Parker Washington's got a role on this football team, right? He's kind of worked as the number 2 punt returner yesterday. They drafted him. So let's say Washington's in. If it's a battle for one last spot, who are the leading candidates in your opinion?
Oh, well, I think 2 veteran guys, or should I say young veteran guys. Tim Jones in 83 is the veteran. I'm going to make sure I get his name correct.
Jacob Harris, because
Jacob Harris and Elijah Cooks, I mean, these guys could be brothers. I mean, could they not be?
They really do, right? Their body type is very like, and you see, and every time I see Harris, I'm thinking of a guy who played tight end, but he's a big, lean guy.
Wide receiver.
I think Seth Williams has had a good camp too.
He has
another
too.
big
Austin's
guy.
had a very good camp.
That's what I'm saying.
This
right?
is a really, really good group.
Yeah, so you would imagine several of these guys are practice squad invitees.
I had a conversation with Chad Hall last week, and Chad's the new wide receivers coach.
Yeah.
Played the game, not for a long period of time, but he played the game long enough to know, and he's been an excellent coach. He was in Buffalo last year, and obviously great talent up there. And I asked him, I said, is this the best group that you've ever been around? Because, look, I've been watching this football team for a long period of time, and watching a lot of these teams in the division. I don't know if I've ever seen a group. I mean, you go back to Indianapolis when they had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. I mean, obviously 2 tremendous guys. I don't know if we've seen a group that's just as good as this. And when I say as good as this, And when I brought it up to Chad, I meant, is this the best room you've ever had? Not so much from a talent standpoint, but taking that into account, but also the work ethic and the unselfishness of this group. I mean, because it's fun to watch, man. I mean, these guys are ultimate competitors, and they're about team. And if you're Trevor Lawrence, I mean, this is like utopia.
So what did he say?
He said it's the best room he's ever been in.
I just wanted to know. I felt like the payoff was coming.
Yeah, he
right
did.
there.
He said it was the best room that he's ever been around, and he said that, and he's still getting to know him, and it's fun to watch. I mean, look, I've been around a lot of coaches in the National Football League, and I've been around some that don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, the Jaguars had a wide receivers coach a few years ago that was like, the guy didn't know his head from a hole in the ground, and now they've got a guy, and the guy that they had last year, I think it was Steven Jackson, I think his name was, the wide receivers coach. He was awesome. And he goes back to college, to UT, Texas, and then all of a sudden were able to get Chad. His contract had expired with the Buffalo Bills, and they went after him. He was their number one pick, and done deal.
Bills players were not happy about it, by the way.
Yeah,
they loved him.
Wow.
They loved it. And we get to see him as the media, the way it works out. They always kind of, that first period, the receivers are working right there, right in front of you,
on top of you.
With Chad Hall, and I telling Tony about it yesterday when I came back. I roll in at like 20 after 8. Here goes Chad Hall for a run. And practice is starting in 25 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so 5 minutes before practice. Now, I may be off on a couple minutes here either way. I'm not trying to make him into, an Olympian, but he comes rolling in covered in sweat. I'm like, how far did you go? He goes, 3 miles. Just a quick little 3-mile run. I mean, he's bathed in sweat right before he goes out there and gets these guys ready to practice.
Yeah, he's
for
probably
the
doing
next
3
couple hours.
miles in 30 minutes or whatever.
Hey, it was less than 30, man.
Yeah,
if he did 3,
quick.
he was picking them up and putting them down pretty good yesterday.
He was really excited to, he's a Atlanta guy, born and raised Atlanta, and so opportunity to get closer back to home, and so he's really excited about being here.
All right, we've got Jeff Lageman, and we're excited about having him here on an unofficial Check the Tape Tuesday. We can call it that. It doesn't really matter. Logs is here. You know the drill. Send us your Jaguars questions in any shape or form on the phone lines. You can do it at 641-1010 on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. You can do it on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at the same number, 641-1010. Hit us up on Twitter. Haven't done this one in a while. At MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56. That's LOGS56, and, of course, at 1010XL Denmark.
Hold my pocket.
All right, we are ready to roll with the Logs. We got plenty of questions to fire at them, but if you've got a specific one about what the Jags have brewing right now, you could bring it to the table in any of those formats. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Jeff Lageman back in the fold on a Check the Tape Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Tire Outlet. Are you looking for the best deal on your next set of tires? Why wouldn't you be looking for the best deal? Well, you know this, Tire Outlet will provide. They never fall flat. They offer the best selection, best quality, and best prices on tires, so you're going to find the right ones for your vehicle. And with over 40 years of experience, 14 locations around the First Coast, and a legendary price match guarantee, you're going to trust that your vehicle is in great hands with Tire Outlet. They have skilled technicians ready to maintain and repair your vehicle to keep it operating at its best. That's Tire Outlet, where you always get wholesale prices and premium service.
1010XL Jaguars Today Tuesday is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Studios.
1010XL remembers the summer movie blockbusters.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jones.
I don't need camels.
Patindi.
No camels.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You go first. 10.
X marks the spot.
L.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about enjoying your life. So often we can go through life trying to make a living instead of making a life. Yes, it's good to be goal-oriented, but let me encourage you today that our days are numbered. We're not promised tomorrow, so go out and take time to be with your family. You'll always have your work, but you won't always have your family.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey folks, you know you want shark coatings, and the time is now. So close your eyes and let's imagine your garage. Wait, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Just wait till you get home. The rest of you see those cracks, the stains? It looks dark, dull, and dreary. It's nothing you're proud of. It's your house junk drawer. Now, see your floor with Shark Coatings. It's bright, it's durable, it's fresh. Since it's non-porous, it will be so much easier to clean. Don't imagine your garage, driveway, porch, or pool deck this way. Get with Shark Coatings and have a brand new space with new possibilities.
Whether you're in need of a simple AC repair or it's time to upgrade your HVAC system, Duck Air Conditioning is here to help. Give us a call today to schedule an estimate, 904-862-6769, or online at duckac.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track.
We're basically going to have to win.
Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive.
1 point to the good.
And for fans to experience an event unlike any other. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 25th and 26th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
It's time to crank up the heat where the helmets meet.
Huddle up! Huddle up!
Every time something you need to know happens at training camp, you'll hear about it on 1010XL.
Let's go!
Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control and Roland Reach Plumbing.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, ensuring those who serve.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Your Jaguars are back at Everbank Stadium, and we can't wait to see you there. Wow! Deciding on your favorite matchup has never been easier with a bundle at the bank. Purchase tickets to 3 or more games, starting at just $58 per game. As a bundle purchaser, you receive exclusive access to Jaguars and Daly's Place pre-sales, discounts on single game tickets, and so much more. But seats are selling fast, so lock them in now. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Jeff Lageman Tuesday on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
Yeah, baby, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast presenting Jeff Lageman all season long. Happy to have him on board and welcome aboard here on Jaguars Today to a Check the Tape Tuesday, Jeff Lageman style edition of the program. Just determined Logs has never seen Alone, Tony. We think he'd love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, plenty of hunting,
right
fishing.
Up my alley.
I mean, bro, you would just eat this show alive. It's really become one of my guilty pleasures of late. I've binged like 3.5 seasons so far.
I see that they have like 10 seasons.
10 seasons, right.
Wow,
They're just wrapping up like season 10 right now. So, and it's funny, like, we jumped in on season 8. So we watched 8, 9, and 10. And then we're like, well, let's start back at the beginning. And to see it at the beginning, so much different.
Is it worth going all the way back?
I think it is just for me because, like, you see, like, the first group, probably guys like yourself, right? They hunt a lot. They fish a lot. They're not living outdoors. You know what I mean? Like, the people now, like, season 9 and 10, they run survival schools. Like, these are the real hardcore types. And even they get out there in, like, the Canadian wilderness or something. They're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, those guys are a different level.
They really are.
Different
but
level.
I think you'd really enjoy that. So we also
I like heat and, comforts and.
Well, so do I. But
air conditioning.
But you do like the fishing and hunting aspect of it, and there's a lot of bushcraft involved, and I think you would enjoy all that stuff. So you should check that out. We also determined, Logs and Dylan Denmark coming together for the first time, Tony. Logs has a son named Dylan, and that was inspired by what you were telling us.
It's a Celtic name, means fisherman from the sea.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? So that has a particular meaning to the Lageman clan, and it makes plenty of sense. We said, Dylan, what about you? He goes, I'm not sure. So did you communicate with your mom? Did you text with her? Is that what happened? And she came back and said what?
It was his name was Luke Perry, but he played in a different show when he was Dylan. It's Beverly Hills.
Yes.
90210.
You've never seen Beverly Hills 90210?
Negative.
He was Luke Perry was supposed to be the James Dean of our time, Tony. At a certain point in time. So anyway, just we're bringing people together is what we're doing here. Logs, let's go to the phones for the first time here. And if you've got a question for Jeff, that's the most immediate way to get in front of us on the All-Pro Roofing phone lines. Steve in Melbourne going to lead things off this morning. Welcome back, Steve. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Okay. What's on your mind?
My question for Logs is about the offensive line. Clearly, the story is with Walker Little that he's not allowing anything. He's playing like a machine right now at camp. My thing I wanted to get your opinion on is, hypothetically, let's say we're 3-1, 4-0, the offense is clicking, the line's playing good, Anton's doing a good job for a rookie. When Cam's suspension is up, you kind of don't want to mess that up. And I was listening to Tony Baselli yesterday, and like he said, you want your 5 best out there at all times, but you also want your 5 best players at those positions. A lot of people say move Walker inside, but what if technically Barch and Shatley are just better at the guard position than Walker Little? And I just wanted to get your thoughts about that when the suspension's up, but yet everything's clicking.
It's a great question, and just to comment on a couple of your observations or opinions that you had. First of all, Walker Little has been fantastic in camp. I mean, his feet have been great. His hands. I think he finally got beat in the one-on-one pass rush yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it was a game.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a one-on-one. It was a game. It was what is called a TE, where the tackle comes in and chips him, and then the end swoops underneath. And Walker got hammered pretty good on that one. But that's the first thing he's given up. I mean, he's taken Josh and Trayvon and everybody and has shut him down. I mean, he's been tremendous. Cam's had a good camp too. And it's an interesting question. What do you do after a couple games that Cam is going to be suspended? Well, first and foremost, you got to remember when Cam's suspended, he's not even in the building. He's not practicing. So it's going to take some time for the team to get confidence to even think about putting him back in the lineup. So they're going to have to be able to bring him back, see where he's at, see how long it's going to take him to get up to speed, because he will have gone through a period for a couple of weeks where he hasn't done football.
And the schedule, Logs, they'll be in the midst of 2 back-to-back games in London, right? So if he's not able to travel with the team to the Atlanta game, is he going to get himself to London and be able to show the I almost feel like that
he would have to do that
week
on his own.
is out of the picture.
Right. Which my expectation is that it will take at least a couple weeks to maybe figure out what you want to do.
So maybe week 7, something like that.
And here's
6
the other
or 7.
thing. Look, if Walker Little is playing lights out, and you've got somebody playing really well at left guard.
But they do continue to work Walker Little in at guard.
They do.
To prepare for that eventuality.
They do. And I don't know if that's an eventuality.
Possibility.
I think it's a possibility. And, right now, Barch is a question mark because he's still on PUP, coming back from the knee from last year. Tyler Shatley's a little bit of a question mark, dealing with AFib this past week. He's on, I guess, blood thinners now. So, where does that go? I mean, so there's a lot of question marks, and, everything right now will be hypothetical. But the reality is, until you get there, it's kind of hard to make a decision or have an opinion on what's going to happen.
I know Cooper Hodge has been doing the pre-practice cartwheels, right? I could have sworn I saw Barch do one at the stadium. I'm not kidding you. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. I'm like, big redhead out there with no helmet on. I'm like, wasn't that Barch just doing a cartwheel? I mean, how far off can you be if you're doing a cartwheel?
Well, I mean, fortunately, doing a cartwheel doesn't have a whole lot of impact on the knee.
When you land, it might, though,
But Barch is looking good, and, they're trying to get to, when you have somebody and you're coming back in rehab, there are always kind of dates that you set. You don't want to do anything until you get to this date or time frame. And so I think he's ready to go, but he's, they still want to get to that date and feel better. But just like Smoot. I mean, Smoot's coming back from an Achilles. I'm sure they have a date in mind for him that he won't come back until X date, okay? Cooper Hodge, interesting guy. You bring him up. I mean, local guy, Baker County, McClenny guy, and a big, strong dude, okay? And the feet, he still needs a little bit of work to get better with the feet and the balance and everything. But, you talk about a traditional, born-to-play right guard guy, that's Cooper Hodges.
And obviously excited to be in his hometown, in that stadium, in front of whatever group of fans is going to be there this past weekend, which was cool to see as well. I know we mentioned how well Walker Little has been playing in camp at left tackle, and I do think, the conversation about Cam Robinson, what happens when he returns, do one of those guys play guard for this football team? Walker Little has looked great at left tackle. How has he looked at guard? Cam Robinson, whatever reps he's been getting at guard through training camp to this point, how have those two guys looked when they've been moved inside?
Well, Walker looks okay. And Cam, I haven't seen him take, a ton of reps at left guard, but it's going to be interesting. It's hard to measure, in practice, and because, they're having limited reps and it's, kind of controlled reps.
Sure.
When they go up against Dallas, if they end up doing it at some point there, which I don't know if they will, but against Detroit, I think you'll see some of that to where they'll kick Walker down the guard and get some reps there. I think that's where you really want to see it. That's a little bit easier to evaluate it when you're going against other people in that controlled environment. I think that would be a really good opportunity to see how that looks. And again, though, Baselli was right when the caller brought up about Tony's opinion, and that you're always looking for your best five, but your best five – you might have two different lists, okay? If you're going to say, okay, these are 5 guys we want to draft, our 5 best guys, you're not necessarily going to draft, 2 tackles, 2 guards, and 1 center, okay? You might draft, 3 tackles, 1 guard, and 1 center to be your best 5. But on game day, you want to have your best 5 at those positions. And Will Walker Little, if, all of a sudden they're ready to move Cam in at left tackle, is he the best option at guard? Well, he might not be. So we'll just have to see.
What about right tackle? What have you seen from Anton Harrison?
Well, I like him. I think he's got tremendous feet. I mean, tremendous feet. I mean, the guy can be in a 2-point stance in a pass pro and literally cut off a 3-technique defensive tackle going away, which not many guys can do that. I mean, he's natural movement. He's got a shoulder, though. He's got he missed some time, and they're kind of controlling his reps, and he's got a kind of a harness system on that right shoulder. So, I mean, that's something that bears watching. At times, I wish he could anchor a little bit better, gets pushed around a little bit on the bull rush, and that's something that he showed in college. And I think that that's something that will improve with time. He's a young guy, and most of the people that come into the league are young guys playing against men. And about year 2 or 3 is when they kind of realize their physical potential. So I think he's still got a lot of room to grow. I mean, here we are talking about a 315-pound guy saying he's got to grow into it a little bit more. But, I mean, look, that's the reality. This guy, he's going to be a really good football player.
Is there at least a possibility if he struggles in the first month or so of the season that Walker Little swings into the right guard right tackle position?
Or Cam could go over there. If Walker Little's playing lights out and your young player is struggling a little bit, you've heard me say it a million times here that I think Cam's natural position might
Would
be
be,
right
yeah.
tackle, just because he's such a powerful force and run blocking, and I think his feet are good. Now I've never really seen him take any reps over there, so I mean I don't know if that is realistic or not. But at least here's the one thing: how many teams in the National Football League can deal with a guy that's getting suspended at the beginning of the season, and you're not even really worried about it? I mean, they've done a tremendous job building the depth because, here's another guy, Josh Wells. We haven't even talked about him, who's a veteran guy playing that position. So Balky and his staff have done a really good job really at that position of getting good depth. Not just depth, but good depth.
Hashtag Balky Masterclass. Look, let's hope that it is a good problem to have because I feel like the Jags feel so much better about their offensive line than the way national pundits talk about it. Like, they're going to have some problems with no Cam Robinson, not realizing what they think they have here in Walker Little and the way he has performed so far this offseason and the way he played down the stretch last year as well. So we'll come back. We'll talk about the defense a little bit with Jeff Lageman, who's going to spend one more big segment here with us before he goes off to some Jaguar Radio Network duties, and we'll outline for you where you're going to be able to catch Logs all throughout the football season. Many appearances here, of course, across the dial on 1010XL 92.5 FM. With Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey for Underdog Fantasy. With August here, it's time, the official start of fantasy football drafting month. Get championship ready for your own home league by trying out some of the best ball drafts on Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do for each league is one live snake draft. You'll have no waivers, no trades, no roster management whatsoever. Underdog will set your best possible lineup every week of the season. You can try it out with Underdog's Best Ball Mania tournament. It's the largest fantasy football contest of all time, and it's back and even bigger with $15 million of total prizes up for grabs. That includes an absurd $3 million going to the winner. And last year, of course, that winner drafted their team in the month of July, so it's not too early. Don't wait around. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And when you do, sign up with promo code 1010XL. You'll get your first deposit doubled up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code 1010XL for that free money. You must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
1010XL, Jaguars Today Tuesday.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got your favorite college football coach on speed dial. Matt Hayes.
We're playing pretty hard. We just got to stop that inside thing.
Noon to 3 weekdays.
On XL Primetime.
Got the ball in the end zone.
On 1010XL.
More than qualified to handle your roof. Call J&M and we'll show you the proof. Check with our customers and they all say only one way to go, the J&M way.
We take pride in doing quality work at a fair price. And you can finance your new roof for as low as $139 per month. J&M Roofing, under the umbrella. Call 800-640-4594.
License number CCC 1331951.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Enjoy a Duval Donkey or express yourself Espresso Martini at 1937 Spirits and Eatery.
For the past 5 years in Jacksonville, J-Dog Junk Removal has been on a mission to put veterans back to work. They have successfully helped over 40 veterans find meaningful employment, and they're not stopping there. Their goal is to reach an astounding 75 veterans employed by the year 2025, all in our local community. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Every championship season starts with training camp. From the practice field straight to you, nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Training camp coverage is brought to you by Roland Leash Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all. Selling or pawning, get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
The 9 after 5 rolls on at the Golf Club of Southampton, so get on the tee with me, Joe C. The XL Primetime League is in the summer stretch, and you need to be part of it. Southampton invites you to join us every Wednesday for our 9 after 5. Beat the heat and blow off a little steam with friends and family at Southampton. Great game every week, good grub afterwards, and prizes. Call 287-PLAY and get in the game every Wednesday. It's our 9 after 5 at Southampton. Call 287-PLAY.
No dental insurance? No problem. Introducing the Care Plus program from the dental offices of Dr. James McCall. For only $625 per year, you will receive 2 cleanings and dental exams, a full set of x-rays, plus 1 emergency dental exam and x-ray. You'll also receive a 20% discount on all other services offered. Kids 12 and under will receive the same program for only $525. Call Dr. McCall today at 620-9225.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
I'm Sam Nelson. As Jaguar training camp continues, linebacker Foy Oluwakan likes what's building.
I like our communication right now. For us, it's about matching what we got so we can start expecting what they got.
The NFL Network reporter Ian Rappaport likes how the Jaguar Brain Trust has managed the team.
Done a good job of developing and paying their own guys.
Jaguar rookie running back Tank Bigsby has proven to head coach Doug Peterson he can do more than just run the football.
I would even say he's a better pass catcher, out of the backfield.
At your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguar update, I'm Sam Nelson on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Mr. Sparky of the First Coast, your on-time electrician on 1010XL.
All right, good to have Jeff Lageman back in the fold with us. We got about 15 minutes to take advantage of Jeff's expertise, and we will do that. Just got to point out, if you're watching on the 1010XL YouTube channel, it ain't us, all right? If it were up to me, Tony, there'd be a small fire taking place in the studio right now, as our general manager, Steve Griffin, is decorating the room with memorabilia and hats, obviously Jacksonville related, but wants to represent the AFC South as well. So we added Titans hat, and he put it up there, and I felt like that could not stand. I was going to bring the Jag helmet to the front and center of our console, and I was told that the graphic online would block it out. You wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
I suggested Tony wear the helmet. That didn't go over well either. So I turned the Titan hat upside down at the very least, and I think maybe we should fill that with mayo at some point.
We'll figure something out, especially when they're playing their regular season games against each other this year. When Steve brought in that hat specifically yesterday, Logs, he brought it in. He's like, "Here, I got this one." I was like, "Can we defame it?
Defile it?
Like, can we do something to it? Like, what are we doing?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll just put it on the shelf." I was like, "All right, maybe game week we got to figure something out."
You got to have division hats, though.
Yeah, we understand that, but we're just just got to do something to not let that just
put them in their
stand
place
unobstructed up there. All right,
you got to have hats up there of all the teams that are going down this year.
That's one way of looking at it. All right, and that does not include that middle shelf over there that's full of Jaguar hats. All right, let's get to the phone lines once again, the All-Pro Roofing phone line, and welcome our brother Byron in Gainesville. Byron, what's up this morning?
Guys, thank you for taking my call. Duval! Well, I had to get that in. Guys, great talk, and the offense I have the utmost respect, and I think they're gonna do it. The line, you got great talk, but my worry is defense. The AFC is loaded with superstar quarterbacks. Jeff, would you tell me your evaluation of the D line? We lost a few people. Should we add someone else? Tell me, do you think Chason, will he turn the corner this year, and will Lloyd be an advantage, as some people were saying earlier in the rush? Give me your evaluation. Thanks again, guys. Come on, somebody.
Come on, Byron. All right, we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Byron. That's a big question mark with this football team. Is where's the defense going to be at? How are they going to get better? There was a lot of positions that were addressed not in free agency with primetime guys or a lot of high draft equity on that side of the ball. So they've attacked it a little bit differently. Like I was saying earlier, the corner position, they've attacked that with numbers. So they've got to be able to get better from within. And I think year two, much like the offense, having year two under the same system, I think you're going to have improvement because you're in year two of a defensive system. And that kind of works two ways. One, because the players are a little bit more familiar with that, but also, number two, the coaches are going to be in year two. I mean, you got a first-year defensive coordinator last year in Mike Caldwell, and he was learning the players, learning the system himself, learning how to be a defensive coordinator. And so I would like to think that in year two he's going to get better. And so they're going to tweak the scheme a little bit. I think you're going to see them play a little bit more zone like they finished up with last year and have the hands in the ground for some forward down front looks, maybe more so than last year where you were 2 points and then trying to play a lot of man at the beginning of the year, because the reality is that that's what their personnel is probably more suited for. And until you can develop some personnel, that's where you kind of got to start.
Brenton Buckner had a comment about the Jags' rush. He said we didn't have a rush problem. We had to get the quarterback on the ground problem. That the pass rush was there, the pressure was there, basically, and I'm paraphrasing now, but that they didn't finish as well and that they're in position to make plays. How does that match up with your film study?
Well, I think there's two beliefs there, and that one is that they did get great pressure and they didn't finish, and there's some that say, well, maybe the pressures were a little bit overblown and that they need to get home more. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think they were doing a pretty good job with the pressures, but I don't think that they were getting enough pressures, in my opinion. Where are the improvement or the increase in numbers going to come from this year? You hope that Trayvon Walker is going to get better. I think I don't want to say he's struggled in camp, but he hasn't been winning at the rate that you want to see yet. Josh hasn't been winning at the rate that you want to see yet. And again, credit the offensive tackles that the Jaguars have, because they're doing a really good job against those two guys. Inside, who's going to rush inside? Last year you had a guy that was kind of a tweener that's now gone, and he's at Tennessee. And so where are you going to find his replacement? I mean, right now in training camp, the best guy that's been pass rushing from the inside has been Devon Hamilton. And last year, he was their highest, most successful inside pass rusher from a number standpoint, if you looked at PFF numbers. And also if you did the eye test. I think you got to find a role for him as an inside pass rusher this year. And then if you've got to be able to take some of his snaps away on first down and second down on those obvious rundowns to be able to get him to be a pass rusher, I think that's what you got to do. Because right now in training camp, Brandon Sheriff can't block him. I mean, Fortner can't block him.
Is that because specifically, in your opinion, how well Hamilton is playing, or is that any kind of deficiency that or is Sheriff slowing down, or have you seen any of that?
No, I think that's just Devon Hamilton.
Okay.
I mean, because he's pushing everybody around. I mean, he's so big and so strong. And the first reaction is that he looks like a nose tackle, right? So we don't, we're going to let him play nose tackle. He's not a pass rusher. Well, wait a minute. The guy's really good at pass rush, and let him pass rush.
Well, so when you look at the money they gave him, it's about half of what the really top defensive tackles get. And Tony and I said at the time, like, if he continues to progress along the path he's on, you're going to look back and say that contract is a bargain.
Right.
When you look at now, he's going to have to bump himself up into at least that half dozen sack range, maybe. But then if he does, he'll already probably be underpaid based on what the top defensive tackles are.
I hope he gets the opportunity because he is earning it right now in training camp. I think Roy Robertson Harris is also going to be able to give them some really good snaps in the inside. And last year he had moments that he was really good. And I think at some point you got to consider with Trayvon getting some snaps inside. And I'm excited about Abdullah, the draft pick from Louisville. He's not a big, long guy, doesn't have the great length, but he's got natural pass rush moves, and he never quits. And that's something that Trayvon doesn't have yet, and he's working on that. And so if you're going to get your best guys out there, Abdullah's got put it this way. In the preseason, Abdullah's probably going to lead the football team in sacks because he's going to get a lot of snaps. He's going to be going against some second and third teamers, and he's a natural pass rusher, and he's going to be fun to watch, and we'll see how far it carries him. But he's a guy to keep your eyes on in preseason for sure because he's going to be playing a lot, and he's got some skills.
Well, talking about Abdullah, beyond Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, which we all expect to impact opponents, right, in the pass game. That's why they're there. That's why they're playing those positions. And both should be pushing somewhere in that 8 to 12 sack range would be my expectation for those guys.
Fingers crossed.
Right, this season for that football team. But beyond those guys, there's been a lot of conversation, obviously, Kayvon Chason being kind of the number 3 guy at that position right now. You just mentioned your Seer Abdullah, DeJuan Smoot, whenever they're going to get whatever with him coming off the Achilles, right? But he's been a really good player here in Jacksonville for a while now. What are your expectations for the guys beyond those top 2 pass rushers on the outside?
Well, so I mean, like Kayvon and
that whole group.
Yeah, and
put them all in a group.
Kayvon's done a really good job this year of being more physical, which he really didn't have a lot of that aspect to his game for a couple of years. Could this be the year that he breaks out? I mean, it's hard to say that because look, the reality is that he hasn't really shown a lot of signs of breaking out. But you're still hopeful. You never know. Okay, like we've said before, there's guys that develop late. There's not a lot of besides Abdullah and Kayvon Chason. There's not a lot going on there. To be perfectly honest with you, you've got some young guys. And in fact, yesterday in pass rush, you had a little bit of feistiness from DJ Coleman, who started throwing some knuckles in pass rush drill. They're a little bit premature, I thought, but he's a guy that actually has some athleticism. He's a guy that I think is going to impress you probably in camp, but is he going to be good enough to be able to contribute on a regular basis? That would probably be a stretch.
Josh Allen said he'll break the single-season sack record. They told Mia O'Brien that, the Jags, meaning he'd get at least 15, which would be great if he does.
I'm all for it.
So am I. Tony Baselli told the Drill, going back maybe now 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it's been, that he, Allen, and Walker will combine for at least 23 this year. We'd all be for that as well. It's just, where do you feel year 2 takes Trayvon Walker? How big of a leap forward in his play do you expect?
Well, first of all, let me say I hope Tony's right.
So do I.
Because
so do we all.
Here's the reality. If you're double digits or any of your guys are double digits, they're elite players. I mean, elite. Okay? Double digits is a factual number. You're an elite player. And so I hope they get there. The one thing that Trayvon still has to learn that Abdullah kind of already knows is that he's got to start working the edges. Okay, and he's got to start having the moves. A lot of times Trayvon wants to take a guy right down the middle and power, which that works and can work on occasion, but your power really shows when the guy's not sure whether you're going to go inside or outside. And then also power. I mean, when a defensive lineman has a legitimate, what I call a three-trick pony, he can go outside, he can go down the middle with power, and then he also can threaten your inside. That's when an offensive lineman doesn't know what the hell he's going to do, and they're always off balance. So until Trayvon learns to have that three-way go and attack the edges as well as the center, which he does quite frequently, he's going to still kind of trying to get better. And but the one thing about Trayvon, he's a big, strong dude, okay? And big, strong dudes can be good, okay? But can they be great? You got to have more to be great.
In reflecting on everything we were just talking about there, right? The big group of guys that are behind the top two guys on that depth chart there, right? That group that no one's really standing out all that much at this point. Devin Lloyd's been talked about, especially recently, as maybe winding up being, that third sack guy for this football team this year. How much do you expect the opportunities for Devin Lloyd to rush the passer to expand this year? And is that the right way in your mind to use Devin Lloyd going into year 2?
I think that they will be more creative with him this year. And much like, I don't want to say a Wilbur Marshall for the Bears, but I mean, along those lines, a lot of times when you kick somebody down, a defensive end, into a 3 technique and play that Bears 46 kind of front, you got a linebacker that walks up to the outside. They could probably do a little bit of that with Devin. They could also do what is called a spinner package with Devin, where he's a stand-up guy and he's doing kind of the old Lawrence Taylor thing where he could work with a defensive end on a game, he could work with a defensive tackle in a game, or be stunting all the way around from one side of the formation to be a 4th rusher or a 5th rusher. So, I mean, I think there's some creative things that you can do with Devin, and you definitely want to take advantage of his athleticism, because that's the one thing about Devin Lloyd. He's an inside linebacker, but he's got a skill set that's not really as a true outside edge rusher, and a lot of people will say, well, just let him be an outside edge rusher. That's not what he is. He has to be a guy that has to use his athleticism as kind of a blitzer. And I think that's the best way to use him. But remember, when you're blitzing him, that means you're not sending somebody else. But if you don't have somebody else that's really, really good, okay, at rushing the passer one-on-one, then you find creative ways to do it with a guy like Devin Lloyd.
All right, we got to get you out of here, but let me ask you about 2 individual players. Just a quick thought from you, and then we'll wrap up your appearance for today. The Jags put out their first unofficial depth chart, and understanding there's some injury things going on at left guard, but they listed Blake Hance as the first-team left guard on that, right? And Shatley's further down because I guess his situation a little bit up in the air at the moment. So what have you seen from Blake Hance this camp?
Really a guy that utility player, because he can play multiple positions. He can even snap. He can play right tackle. He can play left tackle probably in a pinch, either guard spot, snap. They got a lot of confidence in him. He's a veteran guy. He's been around the block. He's solid. I mean, when you got guys like that, I mean, it's kind of hard to get rid of them, because they have versatility. Game day versatility is critical for a guy like that, and it's nice to have a Blake Hance.
All right, the other one is a guy that's gotten a lot of buzz and had the huge run yesterday, Tank Bigsby. Where does he fit in this backfield?
He's basically carving a rollout every day for himself to be a shared backfield guy. I think those are the ETN and Tank are going to be the guys. And then you might have, change of pace guys, which Michael Hasty, Dearness Johnson's probably going to be a waiting in the wings kind of guy on occasion. But Tank and ETN, this is going to be a 2-headed backfield. And what's special about Tank, I was telling you this earlier off the air, he's got better speed than ETN. I mean, which is crazy to think. But literally on the clock, he timed better than ETN. And on top of that, he is a really efficient runner. He's kind of like Emmitt Smith in a lot of ways, and I'm not trying to compare him to Emmitt Smith, people, so don't freak out, okay? But the efficiency and way he runs is like Emmitt. He does little subtle moves instead of those big body gyrations to make people miss and to get up in the hole. And then he's got a natural power like Emmitt used to have, that those subtle moves put people off balance, and he's able to run through tackles and to have great speed. this is going to be an exciting guy to watch.
Good-looking player right now so far. We're excited to see how they use him. All right, we're excited to have Jeff Lageman back in the fold. Check the Tape Tuesdays will go full bloom 2 hours beginning next week. Logs, in the meantime, where can Jaguar fans catch you over the intervening days?
I'll probably call in to the outdoor show this weekend because I'll be in Dallas.
Okay.
And then we got our game day broadcast Saturday evening. What time's kickoff?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Okay,
yep.
5 o'clock our time.
I kind of like that.
And then happy hour coming up. What's today? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, check Tape Tuesday.
I do it every day.
I know.
What day is it, Tony? Every day.
Thursday we have happy hour with me and JP and the Doug Peterson show, and we got a couple weeks without Doug. We had him on the first show, and then he's obviously concentrating on camp and everything. We're going to have him start the regular season, but we'll have different guests on, et cetera, leading up to the regular season. So me and JP 4 to 6 every Thursday for happy hour, and then me and Brent Martineau will be starting a TV show in a couple weeks, I think, and so looking forward to all of that.
We're looking forward to having you.
Looking forward to being with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Check the Tape Tuesdays back in the swing, and big expectations for the 2023 Jacksonville Jaguars. Logs, all the best. See you out there at practice tomorrow.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, there he goes, Jeff Lageman with you. Coming up next hour, John Shipley, a Jaguar Report, will stop by. We'll take your calls and questions at 641-1010 as well. With Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes from the JOI studios at 1010XL. JOI, where the pros go. It's a feeling.
Do you feel it?
A buzz.
I feel it. I feel it as strongly as I've ever felt anything in my life.
A vibe.
I can feel it. I can feel it like it's right.
1010XL. Sports talk for the First Coast.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hear that? That's the sound of the grill in summertime. That is a clean grill by Grill SOS. Backyard barbecue season is here. Let the 5-star rated pros at Grill SOS deep clean your barbecue grill. Book now at grillsos.com.
We've been telling you for almost a year about Nathan's Family Chiropractic and the 100-Year Lifestyle Network. If chronic back or joint pain is keeping you down, don't listen to me. Listen to what Jacksonville is saying about Dr. Alan Nathans.
The stem cell treatment took the pain away.
Changed my life. It's awesome.
Your body just works better when it's aligned. We're believers.
His no-needle regenerative protocols are giving people their lives back. Get yours back, too. Go to the pro in the know. Don't do another cortisone injection. He's one of us, helping all of us for the past 25 years. For more info, drnathans.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 9 to 11. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 and weekends. That's Bellwether downtown.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley have been helping clients all over Florida with their construction perm loans for 34 years. Construction perm loans are not easy to find because a lot of banks and credit unions don't understand them, and therefore they don't like to do them. Well, your problem is solved. Trustline Mortgage wants to help you build your dream home. Our construction perm loans are single close, so you save money by not having to close twice, like with other lenders. Some of our construction perm loans allow you to lock in your interest rate up front. And if interest rates go down, we'll give you the better rate. We offer up to 100% VA loans, up to 96.5% for FHA loans, and up to 95% for conventional loans. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you build your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing lender. MLS number 331480.
Hi, my name is Will Landreth, and I'm Truist Market President here in Jacksonville, and we're proud to partner with the Jacksonville Business Journal to support the 2023 Fast 50 Award. At Truist, we believe that the dreams for tomorrow's growth are built by hard work done today, and this year's honorees have demonstrated just that. So please join us in the Jacksonville Business Journal on September 21st for the Fast 50 Awards as we celebrate the 2023 honorees for their continued hard work and dedication to growth and development. For more information on the event, visit jbjaevent.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and go Jags.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, is home this week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is Community First 2 for Tuesday. Tomorrow is ViStar Good is Everywhere Wednesday, featuring Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. Get the weekend started with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and enjoy fireworks Friday and backpack giveaways Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. Visit jackshrimp.com. Affordable family fun.
Hey, Hicken here. I hope your summer's been as fun as mine. We had some great vacations, did some traveling. I must admit, though, I'm looking forward to everybody kind of getting back into order. My youngest going off to college. Everything got is settling down in the house. Man, the house is taking a beating. So the towel and grout, the carpets and rugs all need a good cleaning. Time to call Zero Res. Right now, Zero Res offering the hottest price of the year on tile and grout cleaning. Get your towel and grout cleaned and sealed 25% off. Zero Res, man. Spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it backward. Right way to clean.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-Sparky.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
I'm Sam Nelson with your 1010XL local sports update. Not ranked in the preseason polls, the Florida Gators will have a chance to crack it as they face 5 teams ranked in the USA Today Sports AFCA preseason top 25, including their season opener on August 31st at number 14, Utah. In the National Arena League football, over the weekend, the Jacksonville Sharks defeated the Orlando Predators to move on to the championship game, taking place in Jacksonville as the Sharks take on the Carolina Cobras for the title Saturday, August 12th. Kickoff is 7 p.m. The Jack Slayers Gator Bowl and Dreams Come True announced yesterday the 2023 Dream Team at Everbank Stadium. 13 kids will serve as ambassadors for the Gator Bowl this coming football season. With your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by First Coast Honda, I'm Sam Nelson for 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
At 11:05, it is 90 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, glad we could have Jeff Lageman in to crack the seal on a Check the Tape Tuesday for the upcoming season here. And, you know, we get a lot of similar questions that people submit. We try to condense them into one that kind of covers all the high points, you know, of a lot of people asking about the pass rush, Trayvon Walker. So try to hit those. And we're not going to hit everything specifically every single week, but somebody asked about Garrett Prince. Obviously, he's been having a hell of a camp at this point in time and is listed, by the way. It's interesting. They list Evan Ingram and Luke Farrell both as starting tight ends. Right, and then Garrett Prince is behind Evan Ingram as the number 2 with Brenton Strange behind Luke Farrell. I guess that means Luke Farrell's kind of your blocking inline tight end at the moment. Strange, very physical. There was who did he plant yesterday? Rayshawn, right? Everyone's oohing and on about last John Shipley about that coming up. So really not many surprises other than Blake Hance really being your starting left guard here because, you know, Shatley's situation, I guess, is a little bit up in the air right now, Tony. Hasn't returned to full practice. He's listed as your 4th-team left guard. You know that Tyler Shatley, if fully healthy, is not your 4th-team left guard right now. And, you know, that's where you're at as far as that goes. And Bigsby, somebody asked about who will be the 3rd running back. Well, Etienne, Bigsby, JaMychal Hasty, Dearness Johnson, the top 4. And I think that's, in terms of game day touches, those top 3 would be the 3 that get any of the touches. Dearness Johnson is, a special teamer and break glass in case of emergency. But if there is an emergency, he's shown he can handle 20 carries on a given Sunday. So pretty good problem to have right there. Kevin Austin Jr. listed behind Calvin Ridley, along with Tim Jones behind Zay Jones. And when you're trying to look at that, Parker Washington kind of listed as your third team slot right now, but I have a hard time believing that Parker Washington won't have a place on this football team.
Yeah.
As it stands at the moment. All right, Tony Smith going to take you around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
The New England Patriots are signing free agent pass rusher Trey Flowers, who they drafted and had a really good career while he was there with New England. Signed that big deal with Detroit. Has played 11 games in 2 years, I think it is, there with the Lions, but now back with the Patriots. Detroit is bringing in Teddy Bridgewater to be the backup quarterback to Jared Goff there. Houston Texans right tackle Titus Howard had surgery on Monday to repair a broken hand. The team hasn't provided any timeline officially for his return, as head coach DeMeco Ryans only said on Monday that Howard would be out for a while because of the hand injury. Adam Schefter reported yesterday afternoon that Howard is expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks, still has a chance to play in the season opener for the Texans. The Texans, remember, lost their starting center, Scott Quessenberry, for the season to injury last week. The Los Angeles Rams have signed safety John Johnson III to a 1-year contract. Johnson was selected by the Rams in the 3rd round of the 2017 draft, spent the first 4 seasons of his career there before playing with Cleveland the last 2 years. Green Bay Packers linebacker Rashawn Gary has been activated from the team's PUP list. Gary has been recovering from an ACL injury that he suffered in early November last year. The New Orleans Saints had running back Kareem Hunt and linebacker Anthony Barr in for visit yesterday. Kansas City head coach Andy Reid was asked about the current status of the holdout of Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones, who is still not reported to camp because he wants to rework his current deal that has 1 year remaining on it. Reid said that he doesn't know when Jones will report to the team, so the holdout continues. The Miami Dolphins have waived former Florida State quarterback James Blackman after signing him as an undrafted free agent this year.
I guess Jones, he's missing, or he's being fined $50,000 a day, right, which is non-revocable. Those are fines that you have to pay. But so 20 days of missed camp, whatever, amounts to $1 million.
Yeah.
But he's seeking $30 million a year, right? So I'm sure, you can't forgive those fines, but you could say, you know what, we'll give you 31 for this year as well, right? So there are ways around it, and the word is that the Chiefs really want to get this done. It's not like a Tyreek Hill situation where they realize that you can't pay everybody. This is one guy that they're not going to let get away. He was ranked 10th, by the way, in the players list of the top 100. He came in along with Kelsey was number 3, I think, right? You say Mahomes at 1, Kelsey at 3, Chris Jones at 10. That's a pretty good nucleus to build around.
No doubt.
By the way, headline at Pro Football Talk, Calvin Ridley lands in starting lineup for Jaguars.
No.
Wouldn't the headline be Calvin Ridley doesn't if he weren't? I mean, how is that? Duh? I mean, he has rocketed to the top of the depth chart. Did you not suspect that would be the case? Or even if you questioned, would he come back and be the same guy? Didn't, mini camps and OTAs and all that indicate to you that would, in these terms?